Have you ever wondered about this? Some people seem to eat all the sweets they want with no problem, while others are so careful and still run into issues with their blood sugar. Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into a really surprising answer. Turns out, it might have less to do with what's on your plate and a whole lot more to do with what's going on in your head. We're going to explore this powerful link between our mind, our ego, and how our body manages energy.
All right, here's our roadmap. First, we'll get right into that sugar puzzle I mentioned. Then we'll do a super quick refresh on how our body's energy system works. After that, we dive into the main idea, this concept of a hidden driver called Muna, which is really our ego. And finally, we'll wrap up with some real, actionable steps to find that path back to balance.
So let's just start with this big question that honestly baffles so many of us. We all know that person, right? The one who can just devour desserts and sweets and nothing. They seem totally fine. And then maybe you know someone else, or maybe it's you, who watches every single bite and still struggles. So what is really going on here? The answer is probably not what you're expecting. Okay, to get to the bottom of that mystery, we first need to understand the basics of our body's amazing energy system. Let's just take a quick look at how this incredible machine inside all of us is supposed to work when everything is running smoothly.
You can think of it like a really efficient four-step factory line. Step 1, you eat food and your body breaks it down into glucose. That's just a fancy word for energy. Step 2, your pancreas sees that energy and sends out a very special key, and that key is called insulin. Step 3, that insulin key travels all through your body and finds the little doors on your cells, and it unlocks them. And that leads to Step 4. The cells open up, they let all that glucose energy in, and they get all charged up to power everything we do. Simple, right?
So, when this whole system is humming along just like that, we're in a great state of health and balance. But here's where the source material we're looking at proposes a pretty radical idea. It suggests that the problem often isn't with the machine itself, not the organs, not the cells, not even the insulin. The real problem, it might just be the one in the driver's seat. So, who exactly is this faulty driver? This question brings us to the absolute core of this perspective. The source gives this driver a name, Muna. And this, my friends, is where that mind-body connection really starts to take center stage. So, what is Muna? Well, it's the term used for our primal mind, our ego. Think of it as the autopilot that's always running in the background. It operates out of the oldest part of our brain, and it manages all the things we don't have to consciously think about. Our breathing, our digestion, all those automatic systems that just keep us going.
And this quote right here just cuts straight to the heart of the argument. According to the source, when our Muna is disturbed, when our ego is out of balance, it directly interferes with our pancreas. That's the very same organ responsible for creating that essential insulin key we were just talking about. Now check this out, because the theory gets even more specific. It doesn't just say, stress is bad for you. It actually draws these direct lines between very specific emotions and particular organs. So as you see here, a disturbed ego, or ahankar, is said to directly mess with the pancreas. And at the same time, another powerful emotion, anger, or krodh, is linked to the liver. This idea that our emotional state can have such a precise physical target is really the core of this whole perspective.
Okay, so if the root of the problem really does lie in our Muna and our emotional state, then what in the world is the solution? Well, the path to getting things back in balance isn't just about managing the mind. It actually takes a combined approach, looking at both our physical body and that internal driver.
First, let's talk about the physical side of things, because the impact here is frankly incredible. The source points out that a person with a blood sugar reading of, say, 500 can potentially see that number plummet all the way down to 100 after just one single hour of the right kind of exercise. I mean, that is a massive change in a very short amount of time.
So why is exercise that powerful? Well, it's because our muscles act like a ready-to-use power bank for all that glucose. You can think of fat as deep, long-term storage, kind of like money in a vault. Muscle, on the other hand, is like cash in your pocket. It's active, running storage. So the more muscle you build, especially in big groups like your thighs, the more places your body has to put that extra energy and just burn it right off.
And the other physical pillar is, of course, diet. But the approach here is really strategic. First, the source suggests eating a big salad before your main meal, which helps get your digestive system ready. Then the meal itself should be all about protein and getting a variety of 5 different colors from fruits and vegetables. And finally, and this is a big one, it recommends avoiding refined foods and oils to just lighten the chemical load on your body. And that brings us to the most crucial point. While diet and exercise are incredibly powerful tools for managing the physical machine, they're only half of the equation. According to this perspective, real, lasting health comes from understanding and then managing that internal driver, that primal mind, that mana.
So this brings us full circle, right back to that initial puzzle. And the source leaves us with this really powerful question to think about. When it comes down to our health, our habits, our overall well-being, who is actually in command? Are you consciously driving your body? Or is your unconscious ego, your nuna, the one steering you around? The answer to that just might hold the real key to finding balance.